That's yesterday. Today's the 20th. And today, Friday, March 20th, 2026. And it has been a crazy ride overnight. We had, I was trading some Russell yesterday after on the open last night around 6 o'clock, and got long right out of the gate last night, and did really well and literally caught. I had a target of 50 or 25, 30 and change, and I literally caught that. And then I'm seeing now overnight we've backed back down well under 2,500. We've actually even touched 2481. So a pretty big swing there overnight on those. And as well as the NASDAQ also had a nice run up at near R1 last night. And now we're down at the lows, and actually cracked the lows from yesterday overnight. So pretty interesting there. I know crude oil was absolutely getting it. Actually, it rallied for a bit, and then it started to get just smoked, and everything pretty much lifted after that, and it was a pretty good run. Surprisingly, gold also had like a sell-off. Literally came down. I talked about this level yesterday, and quite amazing. It literally just barely tagged it. You know, and again, none of these numbers, when you put these lines, you know, they're never usually hit like on. They're never usually hit like right on target. You know, and we did touch down there, and we've been rallying ever since. And gold being up another 56 bucks today. We did get back up. We did get to 47.35s overnight, and I know I was watching the Top Step broadcast with the Dakota on slow markets, and I didn't get the trade. I was guilty of not paying attention, but they got an absolute banger last night on slow markets in the gold. I think they did about 200 or 300 ticks or so. So they actually caught it perfectly. It was actually a great trade. So hats off to him. That dude can trade. He's good. He's good. I've been watching a lot of traders in my day. And I'm going to call him a kid because he's probably 30 years younger than me. And that kid's sharp. He knows what the hell he's doing. I just hope I just have a feeling that he's not going to stick around at that place much longer. But I don't know what they're paying him or what they're giving him for compensation for doing that. But I hope it's good enough to keep him because I don't know what they do for compensation. I believe it's probably some form of I highly doubt they put people on the payroll. I'm sure it's some kind of, combine payout type of arrangement that they have, live account, whatever it is. I'm sure it's some kind of arrangement like that. I don't know. I'm not going to speculate, but I hope whatever it is, it's enough to keep him there for their sake. Because that kid can go and do, he can go to a lot of places that would probably pay him some pretty decent money to do what he does. So anyway, there you have it, gold. And I did step in on gold, as I mentioned. The way I'm playing gold is I'm playing it through the GLD. I'm not really trading the gold futures. And I'm doing it through the GLD, and I'm going out to January. And what I had done yesterday is on that massive sell-off, I went and bought the 500, 505 call spread in the GLD. I think it cost me $150. So that's what I did, and I had mentioned that I have positions all the way out to 610. Now I'm $100 off, and but I'm swinging for the fences for this one for sure, and I'm going to continue on this. And as I said, this is probably my last kind of ditch effort on gold here. I don't think I'm going to add much more right now. I'd like to see it get back up to the 470s. And so that's how I'm playing it. And just like everybody else in my big long-term accounts, this was up $15,000 just 2-3 weeks ago. And now now I'm only up about 4,800. And you can see yesterday was not a good day, and it is what it is, right? I mean, that's why I had mentioned yesterday. I didn't even realize when I started looking through here. I'm in cash, so I'm in a lot of cash, and I'm happy about that. And so, when the time is right, I'm going to start moving some of this cash out of here because that's what this is. This is not a long-term, these are not long-term investments basically all the way down here. Even to a lesser extent, Verizon. The only reason why I bought Verizon is because of its dividend. And Verizon, I'm actually short calls that are surprisingly actually paying off. I sold some in the money calls just to try to generate some income on that. And they're surprisingly working, but the only reason why I bought Verizon was for its stability and its dividend. I think it pays like a ridiculous. I don't know what the percentage is. I want to say it's like upwards near 6%. It's like 6 or 7%. It's kind of crazy. It's a crazy dividend. And that's why I've done what I did. So although I know this may look a little rough right now, I think personally I'm in a good position to kind of weather this storm out, because I don't think this is just gonna miraculously be over one day and then we're gonna be at new highs. It's gonna take some time to churn this back up. But if you were to look back, I mean, again, we are literally almost at a place, and let's do this real quick, just for, we are literally at a place where we were almost at last year. I mean, here's last year in the end of February. Here's March. Here's April, Independence Day, supposedly, right? Which that was a crock of shit. But anyway, and then from here, right, boom. And it took us about 2.5, it took us about a month and a half. Was it about a month? No, it took about a month to get back, maybe a little more. Yeah, it took about 2 months to get back to where we were and then off to the races. Again, I still see some more downside on here. I still think we need some more downside before we go back up. I got a number of marks on here. I have 65.96 and 65.21. And then the bottom one here is 64.74. Those are kind of the lines in the sand. Now, we kind of lose those. You know, there may be, I might be singing a different story. But, you know, and we will see. Right now we trade 66.35, and these are on the S&Ps. And we will see. You know, we have not been able to, you know, there have been a number of, let's see, there's been one, basically 2, 3 yesterday, and then, yeah, you know, we are testing. You know, we are testing down here, and we'll see if we hold. These markets have been extraordinarily resilient. Although we have been finding a lot of sell pressure and a lot of speed to the downside, a lot of it's been getting absorbed so far. You know, again, it just like a bull rally, you just don't know how long and how persistent they're going to be until they just kind of roll over and say, all right, look, you know, we're not going to go. But I firmly believe we need to go lower to go higher. I just don't think I just don't think we're at a price point that's attractive to the markets. Anyway, that's kind of my macroeconomic spiel this morning. I'm not going to spend much more time on that because that's about as good. That's about as informative and important as somebody farting in his shoe and asking if it smells, because it's meaningless. It's absolutely meaningless because nobody knows, because something can happen tomorrow that we didn't even think about. You know, aliens land in, you know, Bismarck, North Dakota. You know, and then all of a sudden, you know, then we'll be talking about that. So anyway, I like possibly another retest on these lows here on the ES. These are the lows from yesterday. And for those, you know, not knowing, LOD is low of the day. Another acronym in the absolute fucking vegetable soup of bullshit in this industry. You know, I would definitely mark that. We were not, you know, we actually took it out overnight, but we defended it. Long wick there. So buyers really came in pretty hard there. And the sellers just couldn't take them over. Also, right down underneath there is an S2, 6604.25. Now, the reason that's probably a decent number is it's close enough to the big round number, the BRN. Big BRN 6604.25, and you got 6600 right under it. And so, you know, with that being so close, that is somewhat of a significant number, I think, today. So I would be watching that. And that actually looks like another place. Again, with both of these trades, you have to, I was trying to explain this the other day to my son, who's now new to doing this, is it all depends on how we get to these numbers. You know, they have really no significance if you're driving to these numbers with, you know, crazy amounts of momentum, news, or something like that. A lot of times that kind of like pulls all the normalcy out, and you have to know that. And you have to be aware of that because you get run over. Otherwise, you know, I mean, these numbers are all things being normal, right? All things being normal in the news cycle, in the volume, you know, and you get that injection of, you know, I will call it chaos, right? Whether it be a tweet, whether it be a news event, whether it even be, you know, a press conference or something like that. You just need to be aware of how we're getting to those numbers. And when you get to these numbers and they're kind of a creep and crawl or kind of a normal, I would say, drift, these numbers have more and more importance. All right, so just be aware of that. You know, it's really important. Then R1, very interesting spot to me, R1. Because we could not take that out overnight. We tried. We had one attempt. So I'm actually going to mark that here today because that is, you know, based on the tape and the chart here and now. This is actually a really. This could possibly be. This could possibly be a trade of the day. All right. And so there you have that on the ES. And then as you get up in here, you're going to get more and more resistance, especially up here in this profile near this point of control, 66.99, right? 66, yeah, 6,700, 6,700 or so, right big number here, and we're literally at the point of control on this 1 hour profile. So that is pretty interesting too. So just be aware of that we're going to get a lot of resistance up here, even with this being yesterday's high. So there is a lot of resistance here. So if R1 doesn't work out, you know, I think you're going to have a couple of shots to take this thing short up here if indeed we get up there. Now we have a lot of Chegg to push through here. A lot of Chegg. So we'll see how that goes. So that's pretty much the ES. I'm probably not going to be playing the real outward bands. I'm talking, you know, S3, even R2. I'm expecting us to be in a pretty tight range today. I don't think there's much in the news cycle today. I think we're newsed out. Yeah, the only thing we have is Baker Hughes. And then Powell speaks on Saturday. Like, but who the fuck wants to hear him talk again? You know, he already said his piece. Go away, dude. But he's gonna do his talk show circuit because he's a douchebag and he's proud of it. So anyway, so there you have it. And that's kind of all I have to say about the ES at this point. For today. NASDAQ, I think you're going to see very similar action. We have a little bit more Chegg down here at the 24s. 24,638. You know, R1 right below that swing high from last night. And then yesterday's highs, 723s. But there is a lot of inventory in here, and we will kind of see. But again, I think these trades up here could possibly work out to be some of the trades of the day. If we do get up and above these highs, and I will mark them, if we do get up and above these, NASDAQ can actually, I'm going to gray it just so it's, but if we get up and above this, NASDAQ could run. You have a lot of holes in here, and you really don't get any real like heavy inventory until we start getting up near R3 here. So NASDAQ could possibly, if it's able to fight through here and kind of bury the bears here, we could really, NASDAQ could make a run. And especially if we hit it where, like, for whatever reason, you're watching oil and oil starts to maybe die a little bit here. And, it's really going to matter. What's really going to matter about oil kind of like slipping down further into the weekend is just how traders feel carrying over the weekend. They have been, again, I don't know this, but it just appears as if they have been okay carrying whatever their position is, whether it's long or short, but they've been willing to carry those positions into the weekend. Given the news cycle, right? So it really depends on how they actually operate today on whether or not they want to, hang on to their positions. And I think if there's a lack of confidence of holding those positions, and again, it's really a matter of just their sentiment. If there is no confidence to carry those positions in, we could get a later in the day, and if we can get through this cheg, again, like I said, the NASDAQ could really I think could make a decent run up to the 28s, even the 2850s, like right here. Because it's not until right about here where it starts, you start getting these high volume nodes where it may run out of steam. So anyway, I just kind of a little analysis there, but like, look, I'm going to tell you that we have a lot to fight through here. There is a lot of bearish sentiment to kind of fight through here, and really the only thing that I think changes that sentiment would be an oil CL dropping to 90 or even below $90. But it's possible. Anything's possible. So that's kind of the indexes. I've been sticking to the Russell. I'm back to the Russell again. I'm sorry. I like the way the Russell trades. I can't help it. I did pretty well yesterday, even in the combine. I had some nice trades, and they were all in the Russell. And, I'm sticking to it. It's more my style, unfortunately. I will continue to try and trade the NASDAQ. I'm not going to, I'm not built for it. I'm too fucking old, folks. That's what it is. I'm an old fart. The NASDAQ's for the young guys on Red Bull, man. And I'm just not, I'm not there. So I wish I could. But I can't stomach it. So anyway, with the Russell, the spot that I'm looking for right now is I would actually be willing to get into an S1, 2470. Also, here and looking, there's a couple of spots here that I even like just from this last 1 hour here. 2491. I don't know, if that holds. And if we hold here, Russell too has got a lot of, you see this huge spot here. And all the indexes are kind of the same. We really need to get, wrong way. You need to get up in this area. We need to fight through here. and we need to get up to about 25.12, and this thing could go, right? I mean, because we got a decent band of buyers that were up here, and we could get a run back up to possibly yesterday's or last night's swing high. And so that's what that's what I'm looking for today in the Russell. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. You know, it's one of those things where, and I'm not going to be trying to force anything anywhere today because it's Friday, and Fridays have a tendency to wreck traders. No question about it. All right, now let's look at oil. Oil has been absolutely, I mean, I think this is probably the tightest range that we've had. I mean, I know it looks crazy on the chart, but it's actually starting to tighten. The ranges are beginning to tighten because they have been absolutely insane. I want to say, what was yesterday? 154, and then lows of 92. But you can see over the last, let's see, probably about week and a half, we are kind of stuck in this band. And if you've been trading the ranges from 91 to, let's say, even 100, you know, you've been able to, you've been slicing and dicing this stuff up. Now, I don't know if anybody's been doing that. You know, it's easier to look at the chart and then look backwards and say, oh, yeah, it would have been really easy. But right at the time, you know, a week ago or a week or two ago, it did not look like this, right? You had no idea what was going to happen. So anyway, it has been shortening. And I shouldn't even say shortening, but we are getting range bound where we're in this $90 band. And just like anything else, the longer we stay in this band, the more the market normalizes it, right? And so that is kind of the unknown. Do we stay here, or, you know, do we break out? Do we break out and up? Or do we break down Now, the way everything's been going, obviously, we all know that, right? Perceived bad news in Iran, we go up. Perceived good news in Iran, we go down. And that's basically it. I mean, there's no other analysis needed. I do believe the markets are now starting to digest what would have been perceived bad news 2 weeks ago with these like sporadic attacks all over the place. I think 2 weeks ago that would have been perceived really bad. I think now they're actually realizing, I think, that, you know, they're not, these things that are going on are not entirely horrible. I mean, not that they're good. But the market, again, since they've been happening, the market's now digesting them, I think, a little less violently, so to speak. And that's pretty much it in crude oil. I mean, there's really no analysis that needs to be done. It is headline driven, and that is it. And basically, the thing to do, folks, if you're trading the markets, and I told my son this last night, have 2 charts open, or 2, at least a quote or short-term chart on oil and whatever else you're trading. If you're trading in equity, and basically just have at least two monitors, or have it split and have the 2 on there, and just be watching crude oil. And if crude oil begins to fall, you're going to start seeing the NASDAQ and equities rise. And if oil starts to go up, you're going to see equities go down. I mean, and that's the market we're in right now, and I can't make it more simple than that. And that is basically all that's going on. And it's trickling into all the other markets. All right, and so that's it in a nutshell on those things. We'll look at bonds. Bonds did have a little bit of a recovery yesterday. I have a number of lines here, right? It just bonds need to go up for me. And if they don't go up, I'm SOL. I still do think that bonds, will fight back once these things kind of stabilize and then oil gets back down to a reasonable level. I do think you're going to start to see bonds, get back up in the 115, 116 range. I just, again, that's my that's my play with bonds. We talked about gold. And I will talk a little bit about soybeans. I didn't do anything yesterday. It seems to be pretty slow right now. I do actually like soybeans a little short up here in this area. It seems to be a very light area, but I'm kind of waiting. And if we do kind of get back up into this area up here, about the 1180s, 1180s or so, I will try and do a little short there. That's it. We're not trading, copper. I'll throw it up there. Not trading copper. That's a big market. Copper is very akin to natural gas. I know natural gas is actually making a big run. It's off a bit today, but earlier, and I know yesterday, natural gas actually really spiked. And it had to do with them bombing that pipeline or something of that nature over there. But this is I don't trade no natural gas. That's the Widowmaker. That's it. It's a quick Friday. It's almost 8 o'clock. There's no news. Nothing's really cooking much. Gold seems to be getting a little bid here right now. Let's take a look at gold. Gold does seem to be getting a little bit of a bid, although it is kind of just kind of stacking here, even on the hourlies, kind of stuck in this spot. See if we get resistance at 46.10s. There's also another spot right around there. Right here on those bounces, but then right here, because there's a lot of selling pressure. There's a lot of sell volume in here. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I think that's about all I got for today. It's Friday. I continue to get slaughtered in here, but hey, it is what it is. Here's my biggest losers: Oracle, Microsoft, and I thought this was getting bought or splitting, or I thought it was doing something. That's why I didn't do anything with this. I had no idea. Netflix, Mongo, my oil position's getting beat up pretty bad. But again, these are all, look, these are all lottos. These are all lottos. You can see these. I don't really have anything in here. These are all lottos. I'm just looking for oil to kind of go down. And these are all the losers, folks. Yeah, this is how it works, man. Everything don't go up, folks. Everything don't go up. And I have a decent amount of winners. I mean, you can see I have some winners with some, but overall, these are the losers. These are the ones that I focus on because these are the ones that need to be managed, right? You don't usually need to mess around with stuff when you're making money. You just kind of let it go. These are all losers, and we'll see what happens. But many of these don't. I think these are going to expire, so these are going to go away. This is a calendar spread that's out. This is going to expire today. These are going to expire. These were just a hedge. I had twice as many. I sold a lot of them off and I made money. These are the ones I lost money on. Again, those were just a hedge. And yeah, so there you have it. And then surprisingly, again, Apple on the calendar spreads, I was talking about those yesterday with the calendar spreads. Calendar spreads are great trade right now. If you want to buy calls or you want to be a call buyer, do calendar spreads. And the reason I think they're doing so well is because, again, like I said, you're selling short term, because what's happening on these option ladders is your shorter term options are actually being inflated a little more so than the long contract. And you're able to make money kind of both ways, even if the stock doesn't go up. I mean, many of these options, these calendar spreads that I bought that were significantly in the money are only barely in the money now and still maintain their value. And it has everything to do with that calendar spread. So very important strategy, especially in markets like this. If we were in a trending bull market and things were going up, I would probably be telling you not to stay away from. That's more of a traditional spread buyers, spread buyers market. But right now, with volatility so high, the calendar spread is the way to go. If you're going to spread and you're going to do calls, all right. And so anyway, that's it. I think it's going to be a pretty quiet day overall. Wow, gold really caught a bid there. See, there you go. I was talking about it, man. Yeah, you're talking about it, but you wouldn't do anything, right? So shut up. There's a million people out there talking about it, right? Oh, God. Anyway, have a good one, and have a good weekend, and I will be back Sunday night, probably around 8 o'clock. All right, so have a good one. Trade them tight.